Labs, the core team behind SSV Network. We develop a decentralized infrastructure for the restaking economy. And it all stems for this interesting trilemma, which is, I see, not the latest version of the slide because trilemma is spelled wrong, but we'll skip that in the audit. And so this trilemma is something that kind of follows everyone who's developing or doing something in the restaking ecosystem. And by restaking, I mean basically staking and the utilization of staking for other purposes, not just securing Ethereum or effectively running validators. This trilemma is something that is kind of common for everyone, especially developers. It's kind of the focus for SSV as a decentralized infrastructure. And this trilemma is really, really key for everything that's happening. A lot of the innovation that's happening today, a lot of the bull market activities happening is due to staking and restaking. And this trilemma is really important because it helps us understand how to build things, how to innovate, and effectively how to create new things for people. And so this trilemma starts with being profitable, right? And if anyone who's building something or developing, even solo stakers who do staking on Ethereum, they want to be profitable. But even more so, projects that are actually building protocols and services for other people don't want just to be profitable, they actually want to be competitive, which is really, really important, especially in this landscape with restaking, DeFi, all of those types of things. Being competitive in the profitability you can offer your clients is key. Go-to-market is obviously second best. I mean, go-to-market is extremely important. You want to be the first to do something so you can capture the market. And obviously, because we're in this decentralized world, decentralization is key, right? Being aligned with the various Ethereum concepts and Ethereum values is extremely important. Building something robust that can scale and secure, it's really, really important. But the problem is that we're mostly been building the past 2.5 years on this legacy setup, this legacy infrastructure that we've all come to know, this Beacon chain, Beacon node and validator client relationship. This is how validators are run on Ethereum. Basically a piece of code that somebody runs. This piece of code is extremely costly to set up. It's extremely costly to maintain, extremely costly to monitor. It's extremely centralized. And it's actually very slow to develop. Most of the big infrastructure, most of the big restaking protocols you see out there, Lido, Etherfi, Renzo, Puffer, and the rest, are actually using a lot of service providers under the hood. A lot of them, and each one of them is a new integration. It's costly and it's slow, and it's very difficult to scale. And being so developer-focused in SSV, and being a decentralized infrastructure, this is kind of what we wanted to fix. This is those three things. We wanted to fix them so we can build a faster, better, and more secure and aligned restaking economy, right? And so with SSV being developer-focused, one, it's more profitable, more competitive than anything else you'll be using in order to manage your stake. It's much more decentralized, robust, secure, and aligned with Ethereum. And it's the fastest go-to-market platform for developers out there. And it's all based on this protocol underneath, built on a new technology called distributed validators. SSV is the first one to deploy the decentralized validators, distributed validators to mainnet. We've launched 6 months ago. And it's all based on this new technology, which is not so new, but it's new on mainnet. Started out life in the Ethereum Foundation with the basic idea of you take a validator, an Ethereum validator, and instead of running it in a centralized entity, one person, one entity, one company running that validator, you're actually being able to split it up into independent entities, and those entities can then coordinate and work together to operate that validator. And this is it was a new concept in 2 years ago when we've been working on that to bring it to mainnet. And actually, SSV is not just a DVT, it's a DVT network. So it's an interconnected web of node operators. It's completely permissionless. Anyone can join and anyone can run a validator and an operator. It's built in such a way that those operators are connected and synced with a smart contract. And so essentially, if you want to run a validator on SSV, It's just a matter of an Ethereum transaction. It's 12 seconds, and you can run an Ethereum validator in a decentralized in a decentralized way. Super fast, much faster than any other technology stack you can use in order to run validators. And it's actually even more profitable than running them on legacy infrastructure. This is how it looks like from a very, very high level. So on the top right, you'll have your usual suspects, those staking and restaking protocols, Puffer, EtherFi, Lido, and others. They have Ether flowing from users to them, and then they have the challenge of actually running and operating hundreds of thousands of validators on Ethereum. Each of those validators ultimately generates rewards, and those rewards go back to the user. Now, the legacy way of doing that was to go into or run yourself or go to third-party service providers, and each one of them, you allocate some of the validators. Now, that's super dangerous, super risky. And so with the SSV way, they're actually using a bunch of different operators at the same time in a decentralized way. And not only that, SSV actually gets you rewarded by running those validators on SSV. And so actually it makes them more competitive versus obviously other protocols that don't use SSV against their peers. And so with that comes a really great commitment from our end, from the DAO's end, for decentralization. SSV is all about changing the paradigm of how staking is done, how staking is operated, and adopting this new technology, this DVT technology, to be as widespread as possible throughout the ecosystem. And so with that, the SSV DAO has committed itself to accelerating that adoption, accelerating the commitment for being decentralized and being much more aligned with what Ethereum should be. And so with every single validator that's run on SSV, the entity registering the validator actually gets boost in rewards. And that's perfectly aligned with accelerating, so much so it makes everything much more competitive. Every single entity, Sol Staker, Squat Staking, and even the biggest staking protocols out there can boost their APR for their users being more competitive, and in the same time also using much more robust and decentralized infrastructure. And that's really the commitment SSV's DAO has made 6 months ago when we actually launched. And 6 months ago, DVT was on testnet only. We've been developing it for a year and a half. And 6 months ago, we started our mainnet journey. And it was pretty incredible. DVT got major adoption. In 6 months, SSV is now staking over 1 million ETH on mainnet from the biggest staking protocols and services out there. Over 700 different operators. Just think of, instead of having less than 10 controlling the majority of stake in Ethereum today, SSV already in 6 months has 700 of those operators, and accelerating more and more with each day. Obviously very keen on adopting DVT, not just through those incentivized mainnet programs, but also through grants. Since the inception of SSV, we've been giving out grants for developers to build on SSV to adopt DVT into their tech stack with over $10 million worth of grants. And all of that really kind of sums into an incredible ecosystem of developers that, one, took the commitment to change the paradigm of how they do staking. It's critical. It's super, super critical for us as a community and for us as Ethereum lovers to have that in place for many, many reasons. And so these partnerships with all of those different projects is key to changing the paradigm how staking is done, how restaking will be shaped up in the future. And obviously you can spot up a lot of names there, but this ecosystem is growing, and it's growing really, really fast, and we're super proud about it. And that's the direction we want to go. That's the direction that SSV is at now. And that's the future, what the future holds. And so we're just in the midst of launching this this huge project with Lido to actually start allocating validators from Lido, which up until this point were run in a legacy infrastructure, to be used on SSV, to run on SSV, thousands of those validators, to be run on SSV as the first milestone with Lido. That's been in the making for more than a year now. It's a project we're super, super excited about. And in parallel, we're also working on major improvements to SSV to actually enable SSV to scale up to 200,000 validators. And that's critical because we want SSV to be able to take up at least a third of the entire Ethereum staking allocation as we see it today. That's critical for the more techie people between you guys. A third is kind of the magical number for liveness and security-related properties. And going forward, we're going to invest a lot of time in making SSV more accessible, more easy to use, and so on and so forth, to the point where we hope this becomes kind of the next standard in how staking is done on Ethereum and maybe beyond Ethereum. Thank you.